Fair enough.
Hello, America and curling fans from the United States and Newfoundland. This is your announcer, Ryan Olson, bringing you the latest draw from the 2022 MoPac Men's Playdowns. Coming to you from Coyotes Curling Club just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. So today's draw feature sheets is a Battle of California between Team Mendoza of Hollywood Curling Club and Team Spangler from Wine Country Curling Club. And Wine Country is based just outside of Sacramento, east in the city of Roseville. So, Locks and Play, we're underway. Glad you're with us as I will be breaking down the action and keeping you updated on this and all the other 4 sheets in play today in Draw 3 of today's Playdowns. So it looks like Team Spangler is in a fairly decent shape. They have 2 rocks in the top of the house undercover. And now they're looking at what to do. Perhaps try and split the house. They don't have hammer in this end. Despite what the scoreboard says. Now it's fixed. So it looks like they might be trying to draw around. Weight looks pretty good. I think they wanted to maybe guard the path to the button. Although it looks like the weight's maybe just a touch heavy for what they were looking for. So now they're kind of in this no man's land where it's a possible double for Team Mendoza and by skip Team Mendoza. So it looks like they want to run the guard back into the pile. And here comes Team Mendoza's shot. Wait, so the blinds are a little outside. Or they play the guard, so that might be what they wanted. And so now Team Spangler sitting 3, and now they're kind of looking to whether to split the house or kind of block the path from the left side. Here comes the shot from the third. Now it looks like it's going to be a little heavy again. This is going to tap into the pile. Actually, just nudge the shot rock back towards the top 4 foot. So now Team Mendoza is really looking at what to do. Shots, sets, and here comes the delivery. I got one of them out. Oh. Got definitely one of them out. One of the reds rolled towards the back, out of play. The other one rolled to the right and jammed and pushed one of the yellows out of play. So now Spangler's sitting 2 without hammer. I got my players wrong. It was not Team Mendoza who drew the last. It was Matt Gamboa. Well, we'll meet the players as we go through today's draw. Or no, I can't count rocks right now. That was 10. This shot from Spangler looks to be a guard. So facing 2 in the house, and a guard is blocking about 2/5 of the shot rock on the top 4 foot. Actually, it's almost fighting the button. So it looks like the Mendoza range wants to do a takeout. I would say maybe hack weight. Just enough to curl around the guard and to get some action on the shot rock in the back. Here we go, the first of 2 skip stones from Paul Mendoza. Weight looks pretty good. Around the guard, gets the action on the shot rock, but the shooter does not stick around. So now for Team Spangler, they're in a pretty good situation without hammer in the first end. It doesn't look like they're going to. Doesn't look like the hammer team Mendoza is going to be able to belay. It looks like Team Spangler is going to be able to really put the pressure on to force Mendoza to take 1 with the hammer in the first end, or possibly steal if something goes funky or sideways. Spangler has hammer. How did I get that wrong? Okay, so the ICE officials are telling me that Spangler has hammer. So Spangler shots away. Sweepers are going. So Spangler's a good shot to do too. Just take back everything I said. Spangler's going to draw around that center guard and get about half buried. So there's a double opportunity for Mendoza, and that would seem to be the best opportunity. If they double the shot out, that minimizes the scoring opportunity for Spangler. Spangler's probably going to blank and hit the hammer into the second end, which is still not a bad outcome because they're not giving up a deuce in the first end. But Mendoza has the broom down, and his shot is underway. Action on 1, and it's going to roll towards the back 12. So minimize the counting. So Spangler now has a pretty wide open house to get a deuce here with a hammer in the first end. It's a pretty straightforward shot, so Spangler is getting set fairly quickly. And here we go, 4-2, Team Spangler of One Country Curling. Sweepers are just escorting it down like an honor guard. Not putting a broom on it. Now they're maybe just cleaning. Pretty good draw weights right to the top of the forefoot for the deuce. So Team Spangler of Wine Country up to after the first end here at the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdowns. We'll be back to the feature sheet in just a moment here on MoPac's YouTube channel. Live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help starting a club in your community. So, on our feature sheet, it is Team Spangler of Wine Country up 2-0, as they say in soccer terms, over Team Mendoza of Hollywood Curling. So just to update the action on the other sheets of play that are underway. On sheet A, we have a battle between Team Tate, I believe of Coyotes, versus Team Bassrack of Park City. The first end is over, and Bassrack is on the board with a single. On sheet B, N2 is underway between Team Raju of Lake Tahoe Epic Curling and Team Siggins. Again, I think that's the Coyotes team. Getting a nod from the audience, appreciate that. And Team Siggins took 3 in the first end, so it's a 3-0 game on sheet B. Sheet C, the feature, which is now underway. And then on sheet D, N1 is over. Not seeing a score posted. Oh no, I see it. It's a 1. It's a battle between Team LeClaire of Arizona Coyotes versus Team Fleming, which is also of Coyotes, I believe. So lots of Coyotes teams in play, which is fitting because they are our host today, and we definitely appreciate them for hosting this event, helping to bring competition, high-level curling competition to the West here at the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. So, a couple rocks in play. Spangler has the broom down. Looks like they want to make a play on the shot rock. And that is lead Brian Feldman, I believe. Looks like it's going to be maybe a draw tap. T-line on the forefoot. So for Team Mendoza, this is the lead, Andy McKillips. Andy's been curling since 2006, was in Playdowns at Grand National Curling Club, and participated in Club Nationals twice. On the East Coast, he was the winner of the Broomstones Men's, Little International, and Cape Cod Men's Summer Spiels. And he was a 5-time participant in the Gordon International, including a 2011 first win for the USA in 29 years. So for Team Spangler, Brian Feldman threw his 2 stones. He's coached for 7 years. Now we're going to see David Betts, the second. David's been curling for 3 years. His previous event finishes include Arena Nationals quarterfinals one time, and an interesting fact that I will get to in a later end because there's a bit of a joke involved in that. So it looks like Betts must have made some contact on the rock from Mendoza. It just pushes the Mendoza rock out to the 12-foot. So it improves the situation, not a clean takeout. And now we have Matt Gamboa to his friends, getting ready for his shots. Matt was in the 2012 Club Nationals, the 2015 state champs at the PIC, the Pacific Invitational, two-time summer blockbuster Bonspiel champion, hosted by Hollywood, if I remember correctly, and also a 2019 Can-Am Cup Team USA, which won. And his shot to take out the red shot rock was mostly successful, I'd say, mostly because they did get rid of the red, but they jammed on the yellow on the left side, pushing that yellow further back. It's not out of play, but then they lost the shooter. So pretty successful, though. So now we have the next shots underway from David Betts. I don't know if he's related to Mookie. They were sweeping pretty hard. They got the yellow and they look to stick around. They are sticking around back of the 12-foot, near the 8-foot. So Spangler doesn't have hammer. Mendoza does here in the second end. And so it looks like it's a pretty clean sheet right now. So Mendoza could be thinking to try and blank this end. If they're not able to take advantage of having that last rock hammer and manufacturing a multiple point score of 2 or more. And so it looks like they're trading hits back and forth. And so again, trading hits back and forth. So now they're rolling towards center, so that maybe Mendoza's trying to make something of these hit and rolls that are happening. If they can roll theirs undercover, maybe get that deuce to make full advantage of the hammer in the second end. It's a pretty busy morning here at Coyotes. We have a fairly decent crowd in the warm room, watching the games on all the sheets. And here comes the shot from Spangler's team. Looks like they're going to hit and they're going to roll their shooter out. So now it's a completely wide open house, aside from the guard that's in the top right side of the sheets. So Mendoza's probably looking to maybe now take advantage of that corner that's been there all in. And if they're able to execute, then the deuce might still be in play. This shot's underway from Tim Mendoza. Looks like the draw's on. It looks like looks like a little wide. It's not getting near around the guard. Also looks a touch light. Sweepers are going pretty hard, and they're going to be able to get it to the top 4 foot. Actually, full 4 foot. It's going to be overhead. This could be just inside the 4 foot ring. And it's a pretty tasty target for Spangler, and they're just going to go for it, take it out. Line looks pretty good. It looks like they're going to try and roll away from that corner guard. Got contact and got the shot rock out and got their shooter out. So again, back to a clean sheet. Team Mendoza has 3 more shots, so it looks like they're going to try the corner guard again. They're just walking it down. All 3 members of the team minus this. That's heavy, and also the line was still a bit wide again, and that rock is totally out of play, it appears. So now we're at skip stones. By the way, that was Tim Mendoza, who's been curling since 2007. He was in the 2012 Club Nationals and the 2017 Mixed Nationals, and was a two-time Summer Blockbuster Bonspiel champion. So, coming up now is Cameron Spangler, who's been curling for 8 years. His previous finishes include Arena Nationals of bronze one time. He made the quarterfinals as well 3 times, and was MoPac Club Men's Playdowns quarterfinals one time. His interesting fact is that he believes he peaked in high school when he was voted Homecoming King during his 2nd senior year, which makes you think about that. I think having the 2nd senior year might be the other noteworthy element of that fun fact. But his shot's underway. Looks like they are maybe just making it a little harder for Team Mendoza to get that blank by just drawing into the house away from that corner guard. Looks to be a touch heavy. And it's going to be in the back 12. So Mendoza, if they really, really wanted to try and manufacture points, they might try and draw to it, or tap it back, just so that they can try and generate some offense. However, it's very early in the game. We are playing by the USA Curling competitive rules for national championships for the most part, and that means we are playing 10 endings here, even minus the commercial break. And so it looks like they're going to make a hit, and they stick that spray. So here is Skip Paul Mendoza. Shots underway, just walking it down. And a clean hit. It does look to roll. It's actually hanging around. So now Team Spangler is going to make a play at it, I would think. If they stick around, that's fine. If not, then the blank is all but assured here in the second end. Cameron Spangler. Room's down. And here is his shot. Swoopers are on it. Think it. And it looks to roll out of play. So now the blank is almost assured. Some people might want to try and get a point on the board. Actually, they're looking to maybe spill that really tight corner guard into the house to get the deuce. It's early, time to try some stuff out. So just anyone listening out there, if you order Jersey Mike's, your order is here. And it actually turns out it's an order from a neighboring business, which happens a couple times. But here is Paul Mendoza's last with the hammer, looking to get something going here in the second end at the men's club playdowns. Sweepers are off it. Looks like it needs to curl. No, its line looks pretty decent. It's so close. Very good effort from Team Mendoza, but the result is that the guard does not roll into the house. The shooter does spill into the house, so it is a score of 1. A pretty solid try. The weight looked really decent. Maybe the line, or maybe a little more, it's hard to say. But the score is 2-1 Spangler over Mendoza in this Battle of California at the 2022 men's club playdowns here from the Coyotes Curling Club, and coming at you on the MoPac YouTube channel. Just a thank you to Coyotes for hosting this event. We have a lot of volunteers manning the tables. The ice techs have worked to make sure that this ice is as pristine as possible, and that includes after a rare Tempe torrent of rain overnight. It really took a lot of us for surprise. But it was a nice rain. I'm sure we could all use appreciate the precipitation. I'm working on my Christmas cards, my weather-themed Christmas cards, so appreciate the precipitation is one of the greetings I'm working on. But we're underway here in the third end. We're going to look around the rings to update the scores on the other sheets. We have 2 draws today. This is the first of 2. Coming up at 5:30 tonight, we're going to have our second draw of the evening, draw 4 for the overall competition. It looks like they're clearing the sheet on sheet A, so we'll have a score in just a second. Sheet B, they are in the third end. I did not see a score posted yet. 3-1, thank you very much. So for the house, they let me know that Team Raju from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling put up 1 over Team Sigan, so it's a 3-1 game on sheet B. Sheet C, we know, is the feature game. It is 2-1. And then on sheet D, as in dinosaur, Team LeClaire put up a deuce, and now they are 2-1 over Team Fleming in a battle of Coyotes, a Coyotes contest, as it were. And so we're as up to date as we can be right now. We'll keep an eye on sheet A and update you in a moment. Back to our feature sheet. Rocks are in play, with Fleming having the hammer for the second time this game. And also, just in terms of scoring, we are posting scores after each end on bonspieler.com, not to be confused with bonspieler.com. You'd probably spell them the same. But there's a debate about how you pronounce bonspieler, and it's not German, so you don't say bonspiel, it's bonspiel. So that is the curling fun fact for Friday. Stay tuned every day for a curling fun fact. As we have one country's lead, Brian Feldman, put down a hat. And Brian Feldman's fun fact was that he secretly hates the second for sweeping on his slider all the time, as we see here. Although it looks like some good sweeping to help keep things going from David Betts. Brian Feldman's curling for 7 years. His previous event finishes include the 2019 MoPac Mixed Doubles Champion, Arena Nationals Bronze one time, making the quarterfinals 3 times, and participating in the MoPac Club Men's Playdowns semifinals 1 time. Now we have the net shot coming from Andy McKillips. Actually, no, this is going to be Matt Gamboa's shot. My apologies. Looks like they're just going to try and draw around and make some action on the shot rock on the forefoot. And pushes that red out of the way and rolls to the side, sitting on the edge, the back edge of the forefoot. Looks like a pretty open house. I say pretty open. The shot's open, to be precise. As David Betts gets into the hat for his shot. He's curled for 3 years. His previous event finishes include Arena National quarterfinals 1 time. And his interesting fact is that he only sweeps on his slider to annoy his lead. So just something to, I just keep the team dynamic going. And it looks like the optics will take out the guard first. So looking at that, rolls to the side. So there actually is a high center guard from Team Mendoza. And here comes the next shot from Matt Gamboa. sweepers are going. Looks like they just want to draw in. Maybe put it in front of theirs on the back four. And it looks like it curled up behind the center guard. Actually, that's what they wanted. That makes more sense. And so now it's the second shot. And so Team Spangler is going after the shot rock. Shot made, hit stick. So now their shot rock. They are sitting 1 and 3 in the house, while Mendoza is sitting second shot under cover. And so it looks like I think they would probably want to hit and roll under their shots. But they definitely want to get the shot rock on. Looks to be a little outside of the broom perhaps, but it's curling up pretty nicely. So now they have to sweep pretty hard to hold the line, and so it rolls over to the left, and so it rolled to the left. So now they're sitting 1-2, and Spangler wants the hack weight hit from the third, Chris Hillman, who's curled for 20 plus years, one of the more experienced or seasoned, shall we say, curlers in the field, doing a little bit of a lift delivery as he lifted his stone. He learned to curl in 1998, had to go back to the previous century, at Elmwood Curling Club in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He was mostly a ret curler. Chris curled in various men's and mixed leagues at the local Winnipeg clubs prior to moving to Calgary in 2011. His shot hits one of the top rocks and rolled over to the side. And so now it just kind of mucks up the house a bit. Mendoza looks at as a possible double to just eliminate both of those red stones on the red side. But otherwise, Mendoza's sitting pretty nicely in this end with a chance to steal in the third, and that would equalize or even build a lead for Team Mendoza. This is Tim's delivery, Tim Mendoza. So in addition to my talkie-talkie, I'm controlling the cameras going back and forth. So sometimes I might pontificate and maybe not switch the camera, or sometimes I'm watching the camera and not pontificating. So just one of the interesting things about being a one-man show here, although we did have Daryl Horseman from Coyotes pitch in last night with some of the commentary, and appreciated that. And then later today, we hope to have a special guest join us in the virtual broadcast booth, as well as a return visit from Daryl at some point this weekend. But we're very glad you're here. This is an ongoing initiative from MoPac to help showcase some of the competitive curling from throughout the region. This shot from Spangler got some action. Looks like they got rid of the shot rock. They didn't see the shooter, so now it is Mendoza seeing 1-2 and Spangler seeing 3. Here as we are now at Skips Rocks in the third end. On sheet A as the update, as I promised, Team Tate put up a 4 spot in the second, so it's now a 4-1 lead over Team Bazrat of Park City. So it looks like Team Mendoza just wants to draw around, probably put it right behind their two center rocks, one a high guard, the other one sitting between the 8-foot and the 12-foot above the tee line. And Paul Mendoza's shot is underway. Looks to be maybe I said they were wanting to draw, but maybe they wanted the guard. This is if it was a guard, it's not perhaps the most optimal guard because it does give some space for Spangler to curl around on that side. But both sides are open to draw for Spangler. That's one of the things that curlers are taught for strategy is always to try and leave the skip a draw to the button for a final shot in the end, just so they can bail out and at least get a point. And so it looks like both paths are open. It looks like that Team Spangler is going to take advantage of the left side and perhaps draw around those center cover. And, looking to draw, I would think, facing two in the house with his first of 2 skip stones is Cameron Spangler. Super rolling. That's what it looks like. It's over curling. It's going to curl into the top of the pile, it appears, and nudge the yellow that was just thrown by Mendoza a little closer to the house. So a bit of a weight, a little bit of a light on the weight from Cameron. And so now Mendoza has 2 in the house. They don't have hammer, so they could be looking to try and steal. Make it very hard for Spangler to get into the button. It does look like though they can't block off both paths, so it's kind of up to them to decide which way to go. They were contemplating the I thought as part of the strategy, but it looks like they're trying to block the path on the right side. Which is interesting call. I don't necessarily think it's the wrong call. It's just that a lot of the play has been on the left side of the sheet, especially with the draws, and so especially since Spangler threw a draw on the left side, so you would think that maybe blocking the draw on the left side would be appropriate because that's what he's more familiar with, and that he would probably have it more dialed in for his last shot. However, Mendoza is looking to block off the left side, the right side, and that's perfectly fine too, I think. Especially where they want it. They just want to, get in the house, out count the red on the 12-foot. Looks to be over curling, so it's not going to end up exactly where they wanted it to be. But it looks like they might be able to tap back their yellow, just an inch or two. And so now, so there were a couple options that they could on the left side. I was thinking they would do the draw again, but Spangler is looking to line up hit and roll, which if they stick is great because they would just hit and stick for 1. If they roll, just make sure they roll to the right across the house so they don't all roll all the way through, and then they have just those 2 yellows in the top 8, top 12 to outcount. So it looks like that's the call. They're doing a hit and roll. As Spangler gets set here for the last rock here in the 3rd end. So the shot's underway. It looks like it's curling up pretty nicely, and it's going to hit and roll to the left. So unfortunately, it rolled the wrong way. They cleared the rock, so it looks like it was at least 1. I don't know if it's going to be 2 for Mendoza, but Mendoza comes up with a steal to at least tie things up here in the 3rd. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with you from the MoPac 2022 Men's Club Playdowns being hosted at Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona. We are back here for a MoPac Monday. MoPac morning. It turns out that was a steal of just the one for Team Mendoza. But things are all square here in the fourth end as the net shot gets underway. Brian Feldman of Team Spangler. Once again, live scoring updates are going to be posted on the scoring website, Spangler.com. It's your one-stop source for scores from this event. It's Spangler.com. Ask for it by name. So wherever fine scoring websites are sold. We'll do an update around the rings in just a few minutes. It looks like our game is one of the faster games on the ice today, which is always fun. As the next shot is being delivered by Mr. Andy McKillips from Mendoza. So some of the other things that are happening is that we are following USA curling competitive rules for national championships. So that includes the 38 minutes of thinking time. Teams are given times to think about their shots, and then the clock stops. Well, the clock starts as soon as it's their turn to throw, and the clock stops as soon as the shooter's rock crosses the tee line on the delivery end of the sheet. And so they have 38 minutes to play 10 ends, so it's about 3.8 minutes an end. However, if the faster play earlier in the game allows more time later in the game to maybe kind of think some of these complicated shots through. They have one timeout per team per game in regulation. Obviously, if the game goes to an extra end, there is additional time allotted and an additional timeout. The timeout is normally a minute in length, but we do have like coaches, advisors, or fifths in the field. And so in the spirit of fairness, all the teams get a 90-second timeout. That additional time is allotted so that the fifth has a chance to get onto the ice and offer their wisdom to the team that is on the ice. Here comes Matt Gamboa with rocks in play. It looks like there's 3 guards, and there is a Spangler stone sitting in the 8-foot. And that was a draw around. It looks pretty good. Enough to be shot behind cover from Matt Gamboa. So on sheet B, the game between Team Raju of Lake Tahoe Epic Curling and Team Siggins from Coyotes. Looks like Team Siggins jumped up to a pretty hefty score. Waiting for someone to move their head. Looks like they put up. Looks like they put up another 4 in the third, so it's now a 7-1 game over Siggins over Raju in the sheet B game. Back to our feature sheet. It looks like they're throwing some weights. Team Spangler got rid of 2 of the guards, removed one of the guards out of play, moved the other to the side, where it's effectively not going to do anything. So now just hoping to clear out the middle. Spangler has the hammer for the second game in a row. On sheet D, the game between Team LeClaire and Fleming, both of Coyotes. It looks like Team LeClaire put up another single in the third, so now it is a 3-1 game, LeClaire over Fleming. And I haven't seen a score posted on the A game, the A sheet game. We'll get back to that in just a moment. So it's nice to see a great variety of teams here at the men's club playdowns. We have 8 teams in the field. The competition is a single round robin, so each team plays the other once over 7 draws, and then through Sunday. And then if there's a tiebreaker needed, we have tiebreakers set for 11 and 3, depending on the schedule. We'll keep you updated on the standings as we go along. Looking at the shot here, Team Spangler. They are facing Mendoza Shot Rock. Red's right next to it, and they were contemplating the right side of the sheet, and now they're kind of maybe looking at the draw, maybe a draw tap. They have the hammer. The house is not in their favor, but they have those center guards to contend with. They have 2 staggered or offset center guards, so they can't really make a play on the shot rock. It looks like they're going to try and draw around, put one in. I would think to perhaps maybe clear those center guards just to get access to the house. Although again, the angles aren't necessarily in Spangler's favor, because if they hit the red a certain way, it may run the yellow back into the house. But here's the shot. The draw's on. Looks like the line's pretty good. Going to get around both of the rocks. They're going to settle into the back of the house. So the line was pretty good. The weight was tad heavy, but for the line that may have been what was needed. So now they're sitting. That was good for 3rd shot. Ultimately, I don't know how effective that shot is going to be, because it provides some backing for the shot for the rocks further up in the house. On sheet A, the score is posted in the 3rd end. Team Tate of Coyotes posted another single, so it's now a 5-1 game over Team Bazrak of Park City. So it looks like Mendoza kind of helped by clearing one of the center guards. It doesn't help them necessarily. And so it looks like Team Spangler wants to make a play on the yellow that is on the outer 12 and kind of roll into the pile. And we're going to see if they can execute. Chris Hillman's shot is away. Sweepers are off it. Oh, looks like they okay, I thought they were going for the 12-foot, but they went inside. And so they basically kind of moved the rocks around that were in the center 12-foot area. Moved the bull. They pushed the yellow out into the open, and they moved the red. So the red is about, I would say about 2/5 under cover. And so it looks like Mendoza just wants to dial up a draw to kind of sit next to its buddy, sitting shot rock. And here comes the shot from Tim Mendoza. Line looks pretty good. This is curling up, but it's going to, it chips off of the center guard, and it's going to roll into the house. It's going to roll to the ground just behind the tee line on the 8-foot on the right. So it definitely gets a rock into the house, not where they wanted it necessarily, but it looks like it's going to be second shot. So Team Mendoza sitting 1-2, 1-2-5, and Spangler sitting 3-4. And also for Spangler to get rid of that shot rock, it's going to be pretty tricky. They almost need like a nose hit, because if it hits it on the left side, it might jam on that red that's in the back 8. So here is Hillman's second. Looks like it's curling. It's curling. It might be really tight. It looks like it's going to kick off of the guard, and it does. So it was a very tricky shot. The shooter spills out. The guard rolls off to the right, where it is effectively ineffective. The shooter actually kind of rolled on top of the red on the outer 12-foot. I think it maybe pushed it in a little bit more as it rolled out, as the shooter rolled out. So now for Mendoza, this is Paul Mendoza's first 2 skips rocks here in the 4th end. Looks like they're going to draw. And I'm looking at the different angles just to see what type of shot they might do to really maximize the situation here. For Spangler, it looks like they could maybe run their red that's a top center onto the yellow, and really just kind of change some of the angles around and really improve their situation. It looks like Mendoza is going to draw here with his first. Swoopers are on it, cleaning mostly. Looks like he's going to settle in as a guard. And actually, that they were probably thinking what I might be thinking. Well, I know what I'm thinking. What Spangler might be thinking. So they put up the center guard, and it makes it really hard now for Spangler to do that run back that I was looking at. Although it looks like it could be there because they don't need to throw a lot of weight at it. It just needs to curl past the center rock, curl past the center of the top rock to chip it onto the yellow. However, it looks like they're going to be doing a draw, but even like a heavy draw tap is also it's a safer shot. Also, if it over curls, they could tap their red towards the button. So, but here we go, Cameron Spangler with his first. Sweepers are just kind of sweeping gently. Looks like it over curled, or it's just heavy. It looked maybe a tad heavy, and the line was wide. That looked to be what the sweeper was doing. The sweeper is trying to execute some directional sweeping to try and encourage, to kind of coach the stone to go to the right a little bit, just to get some action on the yellow rock. And unfortunately, it wasn't there. So now Paul Mendoza just wants to close the door. And just make it super difficult for Spangler to even score in this end. And here is Paul Mendoza's last shot here in the 4th end. Line looks pretty good, looks a little wide. The sweepers are off it. It looks also to be a tad heavy, although if it's into a scoring area, that's not bad. And actually, that's what's going to happen. It's going to curl in, kind of basically knock off of their second shot and roll towards the 4-foot. So now Mendoza is sitting 1, 2, 3, and then 5, and then Spangler is 2, 4, 6. No, sorry, 4, 4, 5. I can't count. Mendoza sitting 1, 2, 3. Spangler is 4, 5, and 7. Why am I seeing? Oh yeah, there are 7 rocks in the house. But still, facing 3, the pressure is on for Cameron Spangler. Shots underway. Looks like they just need to hit and stick. Line looks pretty good. Maybe it's starting to curl. a lot. Sweeper's trying to hold it. It's going to actually wick off of the guard. And Spangler's not a bit disappointed at the outcome of that shot. It looks to be a steal of 3 for Paul Mendoza in the Hollywood rink to take a lead for the first time in this game. It's now 5-2 Mendoza over Spangler as the Battle of California continues at the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdowns, being hosted by Coyotes Curling Club, just a short drive from the airport and the nearest Waffle House. If you or your business would like to become a sponsor for MoPac, or competitions, or our live streaming service, visit mopacca.org and click on the contact link on the right side of the page. Waffle House is not a sponsor. If Waffle House wants to sponsor us, let us know. I can be paid in hash browns. I don't know why my manager said that's possible, but I can be paid in hash browns. So now we're going to go around the rings to update the scores. Once again, scores are being posted on bonspieler.com, your one-stop shop for all scoring needs, bonspieler.com. Looks like a lot of these games are in their fourth end. Skipstones on A and B in the fourth end. And on sheet D, as in Discotheque, looks like they have finished the fourth end and they're about to start the fifth. After they're very solidly in the fifth end. On sheet D, Discotheque, Mr. Team Leclerc put up a deuce, and so it is now a 5-1 game, Leclerc over Fleming. And we will keep you up to date as our game continues. Back on our feature sheets, the Battle of California between Team Spangler of Wine Country, that's Northern California. Even though Southern California does have a wine country, Spangler of Wine Country versus Team Mendoza of Hollywood. And I was thinking briefly about what the teams might wager if they were to, have a friendly wager about the outcome of this game. And I was joking that Northern California could give burritos and Southern California could give wine, depending on who loses a bet. And obviously the joke is that Southern California is more known for its burritos and Northern California is more known for its wine, although they do both places. It definitely seems like these clubs get along together, as most curling clubs do. And also just as part of the curling boom happening in California, Hollywood is affiliated with the Southern California Curling Center, which brought dedicated eyes to Los Angeles and Southern California. And then up in Northern California, Wine Country is just outside of Sacramento. That's just about 90 minutes to 2 hours away from San Francisco, Oakland, where the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club is working on building some dedicated ice in a facility near the Oakland Coliseum, just a few minutes away from the Oakland Airport. So just the sea in California might stand for curling sometime soon. Looking at the rocks in play here, about a third of the way through the fifth end, and at the end of this end we will be taking a 5-minute break. Looks like Team Spangler was going for a draw, but it looks to be a little short and it's going to crash into the center guard. So there's one rock in the house. That rock belongs to Team Mendoza. And it looks like Team Mendoza wants to help build into what they have so far, as Matt Gamboa delivers his shot. Sweepers are just walking it down. It looks to be a little light, but maybe, and light's not bad, as long as the line's good. It's going to curl into that pile at the top of the house. And that mess of center guards is definitely working in Team Mendoza's favor. And now Spangler wants to clean up. shots lined up. Here's a delivery from, I believe, David Betts. Wait's a touch light. Wait was fine. It does clear one of the center guards. Unfortunately, it was one of Mendoza's. Sorry, one of Spangler's. So I think looks like they're going to try and put another guard or rock that's high in the house in play. Bit of a stumble from Gamboa. Oh my goodness! I hope he's okay. Just a bit of a. Looks like he tried to stand up on a slider and lost his balance again. Hopefully he's okay. We'll keep an eye on that. He did get a shot underway, and it did curl into a high center-ish guard. Definitely blocking the path for Spangler. And so now those center guards. Shots underway. Looks like he's going to get one of them. And rolls towards the pile. So now there's a bunch of center-ish guards along the left side of the sheets. And it looks like Mendoza wants to draw around, maybe put a guard back up. Well, he doesn't want to draw around, he wants to put a guard up. Here is the shot from Tim Mendoza. Looks like the guard was made. Let's see where it ended up. Okay, so it did curl up right just on the center line. And so now it looks like Spangler wants to just like draw in and maybe tap the shot rock back. He's calling for back 8 weight, so that they're definitely looking to move the shot rock back to the back of the house, but to keep both of the rocks around. Here is Hillman's first. Looks like he's over curling. Looks like over curling. We have a game at 5 o'clock tonight. The featured sheet game is going to be and Team Tate. Both are from Coyotes. Currently, they're two of the 4 teams in the competition that hail from this Arizona club. That shot is actually going to crash on the red and tap the red towards the center pile. This is a kind of very much a Christmas tree situation developing in front of the house, and it looks like they just want Spangler wants Hillman to clean up a little bit, move some stuff around, maybe improve some of the angles so that Red can maybe run back one of their guard stones into the house to make something happen. looks like they got one yellow out, then they pushed one of the reds out. The shooter stuck around, but now it looks like as soon as we can get a clear angle, I think it definitely helps Spangler maybe to set something up. The angles are definitely more in Spangler's favor now that we can see the center line. It's just they're not super great, although it looks like there might be a path to the button now, a fairly narrow port on the right side for Spangler, and it looks like Mendoza wants to clear that up, make that port go away. So here is here in the fifth end. So it looks like it's going to get over the hot line, and I think they were trying to close the port, but maybe it overcurled. But it does kind of go into the guards, and so that does make it trickier for Spangler to make something with those center guards. But to make a play with those guards would have been pretty tricky. I think the best is to try and use the ports, throw a heavy draw like backline weight to get around the guards, and then hopefully curl up enough to make some action on the shot rock. I don't think they can make I don't think they can do anything on the left side, especially with the guards that Mendoza has set up. Thinking about it, looks like they want to try and do the heavy draw. They have the shot. I thought they had the shot settled. It looks like they're going to try and clear that high guard. And if it rolls correctly, they might be able to clear out some of these other guards and make something, help open up some other paths to the button for their final shot. But it definitely looks like they are trying to just make something out of this, because they have that Mendoza sitting shot, and they need to try and move it back, or just anything to sit the shot rock at the end. Here is Spangler throwing some weight at it. And got two of the guards, both Mendozas, and so that does go a long way to clearing up paths to the button for Spangler's last. Updating the action on sheet D. It looks like Leclerc put up another deuce heading into the fifth end break, and it is appears to be a 7-1 game. All right, here is the last coming from Paul Mendoza. And yes, it is a 7-1 game on sheet D. I think just looking to guard the path and make Spangler's last shot very difficult. And it looks like mission accomplished, as Mendoza puts one to bite the top of the house. It looks to be, it does block shot rock, although if you hit it a certain way, you could possibly double both rocks out and blank the end, which looks to be the shot that The tricky situation here is that it has to be executed perfectly, because you're going for a. Got one, and just kissed the shot rock. So I said double or nothing. It's close to a push, but it turns out to be a steal of one for Mendoza. So heading into the 5-minute fifth end break, it is Team Mendoza 6, Team Spangler of One Country 2. Tempe. Welcome back to the second half of this morning's feature sheet draw at the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdowns. It's a battle of California between Team Spangler of Wine Country Curling outside of Sacramento and Team Mendoza of Hollywood, which is Hollywood adjacent, shall we say. They now play in a facility just south of downtown LA. The score, after Spangler took advantage of the first end, did 2. It's been all Mendoza since then. We are now, the score is now 6-2 Mendoza as we enter the second half of the game. While we get underway, I'm going to keep an eye on the other sheets to update things. I think every team has had their 5th end break, so we will update the action on all the sheets. All these scores are also posted to bondspieler.com. Bondspieler.com, say bond, spieler.com. On sheet A is finished up their 5th end break. It is a game between Team Tate of Coyotes and Team Bassrack of Park City. Team Tate put up another deuce to steal in the 5th, and it is now a 9-1 game. On sheet B, as in bingo, we have a game between Team Raju of Lake Tahoe Epic Curling and Team Siggins of Coyotes. And this game looks like they're still playing their 5th end, so they're not quite done yet with the 5th end. We'll keep you updated. Looks like they're a skip stone, so. And then on sheet C, we know the score. And then on sheet D, as in dinosaurs, sheet D is a day between Team LeClaire and Team Fleming, both of Coyotes, and that score is it's been mostly LeClaire. It is a 7-1 game. Once again, all these scores are going to be posted on bondspieler.com. If you go to bondspieler.com, you've come to the right place. So on our feature sheet, we have Team Mendoza throwing their second shot. And that is the lead, Andy McKelps. Looks like he threw some weight at it. He got some action. So looks like there's one yellow in the back of the house, and otherwise that's about it for Team Spangler's Brian Feldman. This one's looking a little light. It needs to make sure it gets over the hard line. It will. Looks like they might be trying to do a corner dart. Spangler's trying to will it over to the right. And it does curl up a little bit. It's almost not quite guarding the yellow, but it was close. I think that's one reason why Spangler wanted it. He willed it to the right, so it wasn't guarding shot rock, especially since it's not their shot rock. This is Matt Gamboa, the second for Mendoza. He took a bit of a tumble at the end of the last end, but it looks like he's okay. And I hope that continues to be the case. Also, they were trying to draw to the top center of the house. This line is a touch wide, and the weight was pretty good, actually. Maybe it's a touch heavy. And it's going to settle in the back 4, and so it's offering up a target to Spangler that he is going to ask his seconds, David Betts, to execute. Sweepers are going hard. It looks like it's curling up. It needs to make some contact. And that was a bit of a Brooklyn type shot where it kind of kicked off of the shot stone and spilled onto the bat 12, the yellow in the bat 12. So it got rid of one of the Mendoza shots. So fairly well done. I would say, just given the situation. Looks like Mendoza wants to try that draw again to the top of the house. It's hanging out there. I'm not quite sure if Gimbo was on Chrome, but it did not curl up that much for what they wanted. Also, let's to have been a little heavy again. And so there's a potential double if Spangler wanted to take it. It looks like he wants to hit and roll. I think they're going to say do the hit and roll, and if it doubles out the 2 stones, that's a bonus. So this is the first from Pillman, the third. Got 1, not much of a roll. So Spangler is hitting the 1, but it is pretty open, and now Mendoza has the chance to again put the screws, as it were, to Spangler and make it really hard for one country to get to make something out of this end. And here is the third, Team Mendoza. I think they just want to hit, and if it rolls a little bit, that's fine. Paul Mendoza is calling the sweepers off. Looks like it's over curling a smidge, but it was fine. the only real risk was potentially jamming on their own rock in the back 12, and they managed to navigate that just fine. And so now the play is kind of moving towards the button, higher up in the house. Looks like that double opportunity is still there for Hillman. Looks like it's going to hit on the left side this time and roll. It's probably going to roll out. So I don't think that's what they wanted necessarily. Because ideally they want rocks to play. They want to stick around. In this case, and I think they wanted to roll more towards the cover that they have. And so now Team Mendoza is going to try and draw around the corner guard that Spangler has put up. If I were Mendoza, I would perhaps think about doing just to help amp up the pressure. In this case, it doesn't curl up quite enough, and so now the reason I would think to get rid of the corner guard is that it now opens up an opportunity for Spangler to then use that corner guard, because the way Spangler's kind of laying at the shot is that if he hits it just on the left side of where it is on this view, he can hit and then roll just gently under the center cover there. And let's see what Hillman can do. So they got the yellow out. That looks like it rolled to the left, which is not under the cover. but again, that center guard is still there, and now the play is moved to the center of the house, which is also not bad for Mendoza, because as someone who doesn't have the hammer, you generally want to control the front center of the house, and that does seem to be what Team Mendoza is doing at this point. There's a rock and play, and they can trade hits and force Spangler to again try for one. Here is Paul Mendoza's first shot. It looks like it's going to be a pretty gentle hit. and it's going to roll towards the left. So I was thinking that they would try and keep playing to the center, and that's not exactly what's happened. So now they have rocks on the left side of the sheet, and Team Spangler could ignore that, or try and kind of double those out. I think they're lining up for a draw around the corner dart, and that's a dangerous. I think it's a dangerous strategy because you have to be precise, and I think you're almost banking on Mendoza making a bit of a mistake to try and get a double out of this. Because what could happen is that Spangler could do the shot, and then if Mendoza answers appropriately, then it's going to be a pretty much a draw for one. Here is Cameron Spangler's first shot here in the sixth end. Just following it down. Looks a little heavy. It's starting to sit down. It's too heavy, and it's now sitting the third shot. So now Mendoza can put up a high rock in the 12-foot, biting the 8-foot, and then they would be sitting 3, forcing Spangler to do a very tricky draw for one. But here is Tim Mendoza's left. I'm sorry, Paul Mendoza's left. It's going to be a dart. It's going to cover the center. Like it's going to be in the house. It's going to looks like it's going to outcount the Spangler red in the back. So now, as I said, it's going to be a draw against 3 by Cameron Spangler. It needs to be full 8-foot to get a single point here in the 6th end, and hopefully keep things kind of jumpstart things for Team Spangler here in the second half of the game. Room's down. I guess one of the saving graces is that it's not a difficult shot to call. The strategy is pretty straightforward. It's to draw for one. Just in terms of the pressure, though. Here we go. Shots away. Sweepers are off it for now. That's in the lead. Are going. Felton. And it's over curling and it's light. Oh, just another unfortunate miss by Spangler. It looks to be at least 2. I think they said 2. And we'll wait to see what they post. But it's another steal for Mendoza as we head to the 7th here at the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdowns. We're happy you're here. We hope you stick around. We have a lot of curling on tap this weekend, including a game tonight at 5:30 p.m. And then tomorrow's draws are at 11:30 and 5:30 p.m. And they are posting the score, and it is a deuce. So the score now is 8-2 in favor of Mendoza in this Battle of California. As they finish taking their minute break, let's go around the sheet, around the rings one more time, which is something that they say on Sportsnet up in Canada, but I'm stealing it. How many people watch Sportsnet anyway? So as we go around the rings, looks like a lot of these games are finishing their sixth end. The score on sheet A is still 9-1. Tate of Coyotes over Bazrat of Park City. On sheet B, as in Fabulous Baker Boys, it looks like Raju put up a single in the fifth going into the break, and so now the score is 8 in favor of Team Siggins of Coyotes, Team Raju 2 of Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. Sheet C we know, and then sheet D as in dictionary, where I'm finding all these great words. Sheet D is a game between LeClaire and Fleming. They are now in the seventh end. They haven't posted the score yet, thank you. But all these scores are going to be posted on bonspieler.com. If you need scores and you don't want them from here, bonspieler.com. Back to our feature sheet. As Spangler delivers this first. And it looks like it's going to be a high corner guard in the 2 zone. In curling, the playing ends of the sheet are divided into 10ths. The first 3 are the guard zone, into thirds, like 1, 2, 3. In the sheets are 4 through 10, and then 7 is the button, so or the T line. So you might hear people call out numbers at different times. They might be calling out times too, but a lot of times when they're talking about where a stone might end up, they're using this number system that was developed by Randy Furby up in Canada. And this looks to be a 2 or a 3. And it is a 3, which means it's in the third guard zone, right in front of the house. And it is guarding Trump Rock. So it looks to be a really good guard from Team Mendoza. Here is Brian Feldman. It looks like they are trying to draw around their corner guard to start generating some offense. The weight here looks to be maybe a smidge heavy. It's going to go to behind the T line. T line at the end is 7. The back 8 is 8, and so the back 4 is 8, and then this is like 9, which is the back 8. So the back 8 foot is the start of the 9 zone. There's a lot of numbers. Curling can be a numbers game sometimes. A lot of things are, especially as you have 4 players throwing 8 rocks for 8 or 10 ends. But here is Matt Gamboa with his first. Looks like a nice draw around the corner guard. So it looks like Mendoza took advantage of the Spangler corner guard first and drew it to a freeze right on top of the red that was in the back of the house. So a really, I think, a pretty good executed draw freeze from Team Mendoza. And now we will see what David Betts can do here for Spangler here in the 7th. So they're trying to. Sometimes when you have this type of situation, teams will tend to follow the draws down until the situation changes. And so it looks like they're following that same relatively heavy draw to the back of the house. This one looks to be maybe a smidge light, and so now the situation changes. So now Mendoza is sitting first and second shot, and Spangler is setting the third and fourth shot. And so now the situation at the end changes, and it looks like Gamboa is being asked to just take that red out. needs to curl up a bit. Needs to, I think it's a little, it was a little wide, but it was enough to make contact to push that red out into the 12 foot. So now that is hitting fourth shot. Well, it was almost always hitting fourth shot, but now it's even more fourth shot. And so Spangler, but also it opens up that path again. And so it looks like, I think they're going to try and do that draw one more time. Sweepers are off it. Jaunty Esport down the ice. Looks like the weight was pretty good. It's not necessarily curling up as much as I think that's kind of what they want. Just a little heavy. And so now Mendoza can hit that. I think they want a nose hit, or maybe just a little to the right. Hit it just a little to the right, because they want to make sure the red goes away, and then they want to, if they hit a rock, they want to jam it onto the red and maybe move that red out of play. Here is Tim Mendoza's shot. Looks like it's pretty good. It's going to hit on the right, as I said. It jammed on the red in the back, knocked out the back red, and then and they said that the red that was that they were aiming at, that also rolled out. So a really pretty good shot from the team and Tim Mendoza. And so it looks like Spangler's going to dial up that draw again. And then also the shooter stuck around for Mendoza. So this shot looks to be a touch heavy again. This one might actually be all the way through, and they're just going to have to say goodbye to that. Heading for the lovely parting gifts just off stage. That rock. This game's not over yet. We got still plenty of game left here in the morning draw 3 at the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdowns. The stakes, what's at stake at this competition? It does, the winner does secure a berth in the U.S. Club Nationals at a date and location to be determined. It is so secret they haven't told us yet. I think some of the teams are hearing word that it might be in the upper Midwest early next year, but I don't think there's been anything official yet. The Women's Club Playdowns were last week, and Team Burton from Coyotes did secure their berth to the Women's Club Nationals. That draw from Team Spangler does look to, oh sorry, that was from Mendoza. So now Spangler's back in the house. So Team Burton did win the berth for the MoPac women. If there is a second berth made available, we have Team Feldman from Wine Country, who was our runner-up and would be the next up, as it were. For the men's teams, there's 8 in the field, and there's again one guaranteed berth on the line for MoPac men. And if another berth were to be made available, we are going to determine who the runner-up is to ensure that we can send people, because one of the great things about curling, in the spirit of curling, is to do your best and to compare your best with the performances of others, and just to admire great play all around. And so here's hopefully a great play coming from Chris Hillman for Team Spangler. Looks like he's turned some heat, and it looks like they got it double. So it clears things out a little bit. Looks like I think they ran the guard back, and then they themselves ran over, rolled over towards the center. So we have, looks like Paul Mendoza for his first, it looks like they're dialing up a draw, probably to put the guard, a guard over shot stone, or above shot stone. Some nice releases we're seeing here. You know, there's so many elements involved with a curling delivery that that you know it's important that you're able to get your body out of the starting block called the hack, and then you have to make sure that you release it just right and have the right amount of rotation, and all those elements have to work together. Curling is a very beautiful sport, even if it's kind of awkward sometimes, as people are gliding across the ice. That one was not quite a guard, although it did come into, it definitely looks like it'll be something for Cameron Spangler to consider. However, it looks like they're just going to try and, so they're just going to try and take out one of their yellows, one of the Mendoza yellows. Here's a shot, a bit of a fishtail. Looks like a nice release though. Looks like it might be a little narrow. It's important that they make sure that it doesn't over curl. It is curling. It needs to stick around. It needs to hang on. They're going to get one. Are they going to get two? They got two. They got a double takeout. What a nice shot from Cameron Spangler here with his first shot. So now we're down to the very last of the skip stones. This is Paul Mendoza's first, and it looks like they're going to try and I don't think they could draw around, but it looks like they're going to try and just basically try and take out one of the reds and just make it very difficult for Spangler to get two or three out of this end. And here is Paul Mendoza's last. Looks like a lot of weight at it. Going to get one. And it's going to roll towards the center. So it's going to outcount the Spangler rock. And so Mendoza is sitting the first and second, sorry, the first and third shots, and Spangler is sitting the second shot. And so now the quandary for Spangler is to try and manufacture at least one, hopefully multiple points. It looks like they might be trying to, it seems to be pretty tricky to get access to that yellow rock. It looks like they're trying to maybe, potentially maybe run the red back onto the yellows. And again, this is a high or higher level of difficulty shot, and it's not. Again, this is all or nothing or double or nothing, because again, you have to double out those yellow stones to get 1 or 2 points. Again, the level of complexity is high, the difficulty is high, and here we go. This is Cameron Spangler's last shot here in the 7th end. Sweepers are going. Needs to hit it just right. There's the red under the yellow. It kicks the yellow out, but then the shooter spills out. And so it's going to be another steal of one for Mendoza, and that is going to be it for Spangler. They've had enough, and teams are allowed to concede at any point in this game. Some competitions require a minimum number of ends, but not here, and that is going to be it for our feature game in terms of the Battle of California. It is a sunny SoCal day for Team Mendoza as they secure the 9-2 victory over Northern California's Team Spangler. We'll go around the rings one more time before we sign off. Also, just a friendly reminder that this broadcast is presented by the authority of the United Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Just have to get some of that out of the way. Let's go around the rings one more time, and then we'll set up tonight's game as we're wrapping things up in the morning draw at the 2022 MoPac Men's 12 Playdowns. Going around the rings. And again, all these scores are going to be posted on bondspieler.com. It's like live from New York, but they're scores from Coyotes. Bondspieler.com. So, looks like on sheet A, they are delivering the last rock in the 7th end. There's a lot of red in the house for Team Tate, and Team Bassrack needs to try and make something happen. It's going to hit the top one of the reds, get rid of one of the reds, but then the shoes are going to roll out. So it's going to be another score 2 for Team Tate. Oh, sorry. There's one more rock. I apologize. So, thankfully, other people in this war room were more on the ball than I am. Yeah. So one more to go, but now it's a draw for 3 for Team Tate. So Team Tate's going to go up either 10 or 11 over Team Bassrack, who has 2. Looking at sheet B as in Bonanza. Looks like they are also on skip stones on the 7th end. Right now it is Team Siggins of Coyotes up 8-4. Team Raju from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. Rocks in play include a Raju sitting shot undercover, but Tate does have one sitting back at the 8-foot. And then on sheet D is wrapping up there, or actually they're in the 8th end, it appears to be. They're moving pretty fast. Sheet D as in Diorama. Looks like Team LeClaire of Coyotes put up another deuce over Team Fleming of Coyotes, and the score is a 9-1, it appears. Or maybe it looks like Fleming scored in the 6th. Yes, Fleming did score in the 6th, so they scored a deuce. So the score is 9-3 in favor of LeClaire. So that's going to we're wrapping things up today or this morning here at the Coyotes Curling Club. Join us tonight for the night draw. The feature sheet is going to include Team Siggins and Team Tate. Both are from Coyotes, so it's a Coyotes clash at 5:30 p.m. The other games on the draw include Mendoza taking on LeClaire. Sheet B features Team Fleming and Spangler, and then Sheet D is going to be a Bassrack Raju face-off, and that's all happening at 5:30 tonight on the MoPac YouTube channel. Right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We will sign off now, but we'll be back, and we'll be here all weekend long. We hope you tune in. We hope you tell your friends and family, or just anyone really. Just ask people to turn on the MoPac YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so for all of us here at MoPac and the Coyotes Curling Club, this has been your host, Ryan, saying so long and good curling. We'll be back.